On one side, we are aiming for Viksit Bharat and bullet trains, whereas on the other side, 800 million Indians are still surviving on subsidized food. So, how do we increase worker wages then? Because we're talking about 800 million people.
No, so the point is that workers' wages will go up provided you give them work. If the work is there, then the wages will go up.
And
Okay.
how do we give them work? Is the answer FDI?
No, FDI is not the solution. FDI will come only in the organized sector, and there no jobs will be created. So, how do you generate work? You have to look at where your employment today is and where it can grow up. So, it is in the micro sector. Micro sector, as I said, is 70 million units, employing about 11.5 crores people, an average of 1.7 persons per micro unit. Now, if that can be raised to 3.4, you'll have 11.5 crores more workers. Okay. And therefore, people from agriculture will be able to come out. So agriculture will have fewer people dependent on this thing. So you have to boost the micro sector and the unorganized sector. Today, the government is actually killing the micro sector and the unorganized sector. It's doing the opposite of what it needs to do. It says we'll organize the unorganized sector. Now, how can you make a unit where there's 1.7 people working? How can you make it organized? Where does that fellow have the time to do marketing and finance and technology development? It has no chance. So you can kill the unorganized sector, but you cannot make it organized. The agriculture sector, where 85% farmers are below 5 acre and large number of them are 1 acre, 2 acre, half acre, they cannot become organized. They have an income of 50,000, 70,000, 1 lakh rupee. It doesn't even come in the taxable bracket. They can't become organized. You can only kill them. You can convert them into workers. Okay. So my argument is that if the price is above the MSP, then the farmers' incomes will go up. Their demand for micro sector will go up. When the demand for micro sector from them goes up, the micro sector will get a boost. And how do you boost the micro sector with government support? You have to create cooperatives. So this is the solution that we have worked out. That say in Bhadoi you have carpets, in say Tirupur you have textiles, in Aligarh you have say brass, in Khurja you have pottery, in say Ludhiana you have hosiery. You create cooperatives of these people. Then as a cooperative, they'll be able to get credit, they'll be able to do marketing. Okay.
Just like Amul.
Just like Amul. And then technology support will have to be given by the government. That's how the Chinese economy became industrialized. Their village industry was boosted 25-30% growth every year.
How did the Chinese do it, sir? Can you explain this using a story?
No, so the Chinese, they boosted their village industry by the kind of thing that I'm telling you. Okay, so you have to create these synergy, like as you rightly said, Amul did, right? So similarly, if you create this synergy by creating cooperatives. Now, cooperatives have their own problem. I'm not saying there's no problem with cooperatives. Yeah. Okay, there are problems like sugar cooperatives in Maharashtra are controlled by politicians and things like that, that kind of thing. But if you as a country have the political will, you can tackle these problems. If as a country we don't have the political will, we make 100 excuses. This can't be done, that can't be done, and so on and so forth. But look at what are we doing today? We are killing the unorganized sector, whereas we should be raising it. Look at the budget. The budget is giving 11.3 crores, 3 lakh crores to capital this thing, formation, right? And therefore it's cutting back on what? Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, which is the big employer. On education, in real terms, you've cut it. That's a big employer. Health, you've cut it in real terms. That's the big employer. Rural development, you're reducing it. Agriculture development, you're reducing it. Okay. So wherever employment can be generated, you're cutting down. And where employment is not going to be generated, you're raising it. So for instance, they're spending more on freight corridor and big highways. Now, a freight corridor, a big highways, earlier would see hundreds of people working. Now with big bulldozers, big cranes and big JCBs, etc., there are only 10 people working. So it's not even labor intensive, this construction sector. But we are boosting it. We are boosting the IT sector. We are boosting the power sector. Okay. But they will not generate employment. It is in the Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, education, health, these kind of areas. So our government's policies are also pro-organized sector. It's benefiting because once you have big highways and big railway freight corridors, then the product of the organized sector can go up to the village easily.
Yeah.
So therefore, the unorganized sector in the village will get killed. Okay. So the whole move in the country is in the wrong direction. We have to follow what Gandhi said, bottom-up development. We are going in for top-down. And we know for the last 80 years, the top-down has not managed to go down, to the poor people. So we have to change strategy. See, the organized sector already has very good balance sheet. It needs demand. The moment we boost the unorganized sector, demand will be boosted, the organized sector will benefit. So it's not a zero-sum game. It's a positive sum game. If you begin to generate demand at the lower level, then MSP will be not a problem. Your employment generation will not be a problem. Your organized sector will not have a problem. Okay. But we have to have the political will. You only see, okay, today, what do I need? I need this, then I'll be well off. So our organized sector generates a lot of black incomes. Now, the moment you generate black incomes, it reduces the potential of the economy for development. Because I characterize the black economy as digging holes and filling holes. So you set one person to dig hole during the day, and at night you set another person to fill the hole. So there is zero output next day, but two incomes are earned. So I call it activity without productivity. So to give an example, which I often quote, you make a road, you don't put enough tar and aggregate, you siphon out the money, the rains come, it gets washed away. So you're repairing the same pothole road every year rather than having good roads.
And GDP is spiking.
And GDP goes up. So your axle of the cars break down, accidents take place, people die. So therefore, you're not getting the productivity from the investment that you should get.
Yeah.
So black economy reduces the investment productivity. It reduces the growth rate. So I've shown that, Indian economy's growth rate could be 5% higher between mid-70s and now if the black economy had not been there. So instead of growing at an average in the 1970s and 80s at 3.5%, we could have grown at 8.5%. And now instead of growing at the official rate of growth of 6.5%, we could have grown at 11.5%. So Indian economy would be then 8 times larger.
8 times larger?
Yeah. If you add 5% from the 1970s onward, it's a compound rate of growth. Okay. So today we would be close to the American economy size of $26 trillion.
Wow.
Okay. Instead of being the 3.8 trillion officially that is said. So my point is that it's the black economy which keeps your employment potential down and it keeps your GDP potential down because you're wasting resources. You go to courts, you go to offices, work is not getting done, work slowed down, so you bribe. Okay. So who's benefiting? Only a small crust of people, the top 3%. They are benefiting out of the black economy, 97% are losing. And therefore the demand becomes less. So I've shown that because of this black economy in 1996, for which I looked at the thing, the top 3% and bottom 40%, if you see, then the ratio of income between them is 1:12. If you add black economy, it becomes 1:57. So the real inequality in India comes from the black economy, not from the white economy. Because the black economy is concentrated in the hands of 3%. And within that also the top 2%, I would say top 0.2%. Okay. Because they are the big earners, they're earning a lot of black incomes. So the disparity becomes very large. And that was 96. So today I would say the ratio would be 1:20. And if you add black economy, it becomes 1:120. So the large amount of capital is taken out of the country through flight of capital. So instead of investing here, capital is invested abroad because there are 90 tax havens. So capital is taken out through these tax havens and invested abroad rather than in the Indian economy. So Indian economy, investment goes down.
Yeah.
Then this crony capitalism is there. This crony capitalism means that if you are a favorite of the government, then you can acquire anything. So like the Bombay airport, the new airport had to be sold because that fellow had an income tax raid and the ED raid and then had to sell off, right? So you are being caused, so that spoils the investment climate. So black economy spoils the investment climate. Cronyism spoils the investment climate. And therefore your rate of growth comes down. So therefore, we are not able to reach our potential. Your education suffers because, you're not paying enough to the teachers. And teachers are working at 5,000 rupees, 7,000, 8,000 rupees, that's subsistence wage. So they then go for tuition. They don't teach properly. And in tuition also, they'll make you mug up to pass exam.
Yeah.
So coaching exam, industry is all exam based. It's not knowledge based. You're not generating knowledge and building knowledge upon knowledge. So very few Indians are good researchers. So our school education is in terrible shape. Our higher education is in bad shape. Okay. And therefore R&D, we are very weak. And today the world is all technology. The one who has technology dominates.
Yeah.
So domination of US, China is all because of technology. The Chinese put enormous resources for technology, and therefore the universities have come in the top 10, whereas our universities are in the top 200. Okay, whereas because of the Cultural Revolution in 1967, the universities had plummeted. Okay, but they put effort into R&D, and therefore now they have become the manufacturing hub of the world.
Yeah.
Even the US president is negotiating with them, and they keep saying, if you put tariff, we'll also put tariff on you. They are the only country other than Brazil who's able to withstand. Canada had to bend recently. EU had bent. Japan had bent. South Korea had bent. Because they also depend for their strategic defense on them. So all this put together, things are in a bad shape.
Hi guys, if you loved watching this clip and if you want to do a deep dive into the podcast, we've mentioned the link in the description. So click that link, watch that podcast and take notes. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more clips.